Hey everyone, my name is Joan and welcome to my channel. In this video, I want to talk about 10 ways I live more frugal. Now, I've been on a minimalism journey for almost 5 years now, and naturally, frugal habits started to develop, especially when I started looking at my finances more seriously and actually having financial goals. The first frugal habit I have is making coffee at home. Now, I'm gonna say this right away that having coffee, having a latte every day is a luxury. We really don't need to be drinking coffee every day. We really don't need our Starbucks lattes every day. However, I did have a past where I drank coffee every day from Starbucks. And as the years went by, we all know coffee and prices everywhere started going up, and I decided I need to cut back on takeout coffee. So about 5 years ago, we invested in a really nice espresso machine so that way I did not have to deprive myself of not getting my lattes. I have my coffee every morning, I have my lattes every morning, and it is such a luxury to have making them at home, knowing that it's not costing me that much money. On top of that, I think coffee and lattes made at home taste so much better than any Starbucks I've ever been to. And at this point, I think a Starbucks latte with oat milk, because I can't stomach dairy, probably costs about $7. And honestly, I have not had Starbucks or takeout coffee in such a long time unless someone decided to treat me. Other than that, I have not paid for coffee outside my home in a very long time, and it has saved me so much money. The next frugal habit I've had for a couple years now are DIY services. And what I mean by that is that I just do it myself. I cut my own hair, I wash my own car, I clean my own house. I don't pay anybody to do these types of services anymore. I used to get haircuts every 3 months and it would cost me at least $100. My husband, he needs a haircut almost every month. It costs anywhere between $40 to $50 for him. It really adds up. So a couple years ago, I decided to learn how to cut his hair, and I started to learn how to cut my hair. And it has saved us so much money. As far as car washes, I unfortunately have to actually take it somewhere and pay for it to get washed because I live in an apartment community. So I just don't wash my car. And when I do wash my car, I only do it when I house sit for my brother, and I house sit for him maybe once every 2 months. And those are the only times my car gets a wash. Other than that, my car, I really don't care if it's a little bit dirty. I go to the gas station, get the squeegee, and just clean the windows, and that is good enough for me. Back when I was bougie and broke living in LA, my husband and I used to live in a bigger house, and every 3 months we would hire a cleaning lady to do all our deep cleaning because the house is just too big for us, and I just could not be bothered with doing deep cleaning for that house. But now that we've sized down and live in much smaller spaces, I can actually handle all the deep cleaning in my apartment. There are a lot of services like that that we just don't want to pay for right now. If it's something that we can do ourselves, we will do it ourselves. But if it's something beyond our skill levels, then yes, we will pay for it. But for now, we don't really require services that we need to pay someone else to do. The next frugal thing that I do is just owning one car. With owning one car, we only have to pay for one car insurance. We only have to worry about maintaining one car. And we actually have a really good car. It's a 2012 Honda Fit. It really requires very little maintenance. I have not had any major repairs on it at all. And I will drive it until it is beyond repair. We used to have 2 cars, but when we decided to size down our lifestyle and be more minimal, we sold my husband's car, and so far it's worked out for us. I'm the only one that drives to work, and right now my job is only about 15-minute drive. My husband recently took on a weekend gig, and it's literally just like a 5-minute drive up from where we live. And so on the days that we both need to get somewhere, he just takes the bus, and maybe that costs him $2, or it might be free depending on how the bus driver is feeling. So as far as our transportation, as far as just having one car, we have definitely brought down our costs. And if you can get by with just one car, I would highly recommend doing it. The next frugal habit that I have that has been such a game changer is by shopping strategically, especially when it comes to groceries. I love to cook. I love food, and I used to get really carried away grocery shopping, and I never really paid attention to how much things cost. If it looked good to me, I would just buy it, and not realizing how expensive it was starting to get. So when I started taking my finances more seriously, I actually started creating a budget for groceries. Because of this budget, I started shopping more strategically. I took some time to research where to go and grocery shop for the things that I typically buy. But after I fine-tuned it, I cut my groceries almost in half without sacrificing quality of food. I do most of my grocery shopping at Aldi first, and luckily they have a pretty good selection of organic foods there at a really good price. And then if I needed bulk items like grains and maybe some canned items and some produce that I prefer over whatever Aldi offers, then I'll go to a place called Winco. And everything else, all the small specialty type things, then I will get at Trader Joe's last. The other important thing that I've learned when I'm trying to shop strategically is to always have a grocery list. I used to just shop and buy the things that I wanted to try, buying things that I thought I would need. But what ended up happening was that I would let a lot of produce go to waste because I didn't have a grocery list. I didn't have a meal plan. I was just buying whatever I felt like buying, and a lot of food did go to waste. So it's been really important for me to make sure I have a grocery list of all the meals that I'm gonna make for the coming week, and based on that list, I know where to shop. The next frugal habit goes hand in hand with grocery shopping, which is making home-cooked meals. This is really easy for me because I love to cook. I cook practically every day, sometimes twice a day when I'm working from home, but for the most part, we don't do any dining out. All our food is home-cooked. And on nights that I know both my husband and I have to leave the house to go work, I make sure the nights before I make a bigger meal, bigger batch of something that we can pack and bring to work the next day. And this has improved our finances so much, just having home cooked meals, because going out to eat is really expensive. And when you really break down the ingredients and the service, paying the staff to go out to eat just for the experience, you can have a home cooked meal for almost a quarter of that cost. And I don't want to be biased, but I definitely can say that I cook better than some of the places that I have gone out to eat. I do include a small dining out budget every month, which is normally about 25 bucks, and sometimes we don't even use it up, but it's just there just in case we're out and about and we just wanted a quick snack. But besides that, I hardly ever go out to eat. I hardly ever go sit down at a restaurant or at a bar to have a meal or a drink because I know it costs a lot of money. The next frugal habit that I've been doing is to have no spend months. So it's been about 2 years now since my husband and I decided to really take our finances more seriously, where we create budgets and we actually set financial goals every month. And when I look back at the last 2 years that we've been doing this budget, we would have about 7 to 8 no spend months throughout the year. And for me, a no spend month means I'm not shopping for clothes, I'm not going out to eat, I'm not buying extra things like for the home, or I'm not paying for a service. For me, a no spend month means I'm only paying for our living expenses. There was maybe 3 or 4 months where we did have to spend beyond our living expenses. Maybe we had to buy some new socks or new underwear, or my husband needed a couple of shirts for work, or my husband's cell phone finally broke last year, so he had to buy one. So those are extra expenses that we don't normally pay for. And looking at that, we are definitely saving a lot of money. We are only focusing on the basics, and we really have worked on our discipline when it comes to shopping. Now, there are instances when I do have to buy something beyond my living expenses, and the next habit that I have gotten really good about is purchasing high quality products or appliances or goods that will just last me a very long time. For example, my espresso machine, we invested in that about 5 years ago, and it's still running like new. All of my cookware that I use, because I love to cook, it was really important for me to have quality cookware that I would not have to buy over and over again. We have a very high quality vacuum that we've had for about 4 years now. We did invest quite a bit in this vacuum, but it's still running perfectly normal. It has not given us any problems. We barely buy clothes anymore. But when we do buy clothes, we make sure it's high quality clothes. We look at the type of material it's made out of. We look at where it's been made. So as far as clothes, we really don't buy them that often because our clothes do last us a long time. Now with purchasing high quality items, sometimes it is hard to find something at a good deal, but as much as possible, we really try not to pay for anything at full price. But even if there are a few instances where we have to pay full price, we at least know that the item is going to last us a very long time. And I'm not throwing money away, I'm not wasting money buying the item over and over again. In the last 4 or 5 years that we've decided to cut down our expenses, we've started cutting down our subscriptions to the point where we pay almost no subscriptions at all. We don't have Netflix, we don't have Hulu, we don't have any kind of streaming services. We don't pay for Spotify. We don't pay for iTunes. We don't even have Amazon Prime. And cutting out your Amazon Prime subscription is a total game changer. Not only are we not paying for the yearly subscription for Amazon Prime, it actually has helped us discipline ourselves when it comes to online shopping. The problem with Prime is it's so convenient. You buy something online, it's at your door the next day. It can get addictive buying things online, buying things that might be useful, but a lot of times buying things that we don't really need. And so when we cut out our Prime subscription about 2 years ago, we seriously have stopped doing any kind of online shopping. If we really needed something, we will go look for it at the local stores nearby. And if we don't find it, it's okay. That means we probably didn't really need it that badly. So cutting out the Amazon Prime subscription is definitely a way to cut down your expenses and also can help discipline you when it comes to your shopping habits. Now, the one thing that I did notice though when we cut out our Amazon Prime, we still had access to free movies. If there is a good movie that's being offered for free or maybe has a few commercials, we'll watch it once in a while. A lot of times the movies are not that great, so whatever. But that is one little tip, that just because you cut out your Prime doesn't mean you don't get to watch movies on Amazon anymore. But I do have to admit there's one subscription I pay for, and that is my meditation app. But it was only $39 for the entire year, and I think that is worth paying for. The next frugal habit I have are looking for free activities. If I have to pay for parking, I don't want to go. If I have to pay for some kind of admission ticket, I really don't want to go. I don't mind paying for gas to go somewhere as long as it's within an hour where I live. But for the most part, I really don't like to pay for activities. I used to love watching concerts. It blows my mind how much concert tickets are now these days. But right now, it's not my thing. I just don't care to go see concerts at this stage of my life. I know there are a lot of seasonal activities that people do depending on the time of year. But a lot of them, like light shows and things like that, they do cost money to get in. And from what I hear, a lot of times they're not even that good. So I focus on free activities instead. I like going for walks in my neighborhood. I like going for walks at local parks that I've never been to. I live in a very beautiful state where there's a lot of free hiking spots I can check out. Depending on the time of year, I will look online to see if there are any kind of free activities in town. But I've also become such a homebody. I like being at home, just curling up with a good book, cooking in my kitchen, trying out new recipes. So I like to keep things simple. I don't like paying for activities. And the last frugal habit I have is that I am not doing any kind of extensive traveling. My husband and I used to travel quite a bit more than 5 years ago. We would do a lot of road trips together. We would travel to different countries. But when we decided to buckle down and focus on our financial goals, we decided we are just going to cut out any kind of leisure travel altogether for now. I still do get to travel from time to time because I do travel for work and all expenses are paid. But other than that, we are not doing any kind of traveling at this point. And having traveled before just for fun, just for pleasure, I know it can cost a lot of money, and I know I have used credit cards before just to pay for a trip. Traveling for fun is just not a priority for me. I don't want to spend money on it. I am just prioritizing my work, my career, and my finances at this stage in my life. So those are the 10 ways that I live more frugally. We are definitely living in times right now where things are getting more expensive. I think it's a really good time for us to just really take a step back, look at our finances, minimize our expenses, and just appreciate the things that we have. I would love to hear in the comments below what you do to live more frugally that has impacted your life and saved you a lot of money. Thanks so much for watching my video. I hope you all have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.